2-0 Immortals, but he said it. And, well, I think. I
mean, last time you guys
agreed.
agreed.
2-1. I would say 2-1 Immortals. I still think Immortals are going to come out on top. I could see CompLexity getting one map. They're playing better today.
Yes.
I'd say 2-1 Immortals. But Immortals definitely, I think they're a favorite coming in. But with the way CompLexity, I mean, CompLexity has certainly stepped up their game. They have stepped up their game quite a bit as of late coming into today. So it will be Li Zhang to kick us off yet again. And so far, Grim Reality showed a bit of McCree. I would love to see that come out. But we'll see once these guys actually pick their lineups. Immortals, the team that has only lost one match in group plays so far in the Winter Premiere. CompLexity, a team that they won earlier today against Liquid, 2-1. And they're trying to claw back into this themselves. They're sitting at 4-4 with a lot of other teams at the moment in the standings, and they really want to get this win to put themselves just above some of the others. So this is a very important match for CompLexity.
CompLexity starting off with Nicholas on Pharah, Immortals with Grim Reality on McCree. That's certainly a counter already.
Yeah.
And Winghaven charging hyped into the back. Both teams scrambling a little bit. Nami very far in, and Nami's going to fall. Grim Reality right behind him.
That's 2 kills for CompLexity. Off to a good start. You should be able to have a pretty free take on this point to start things off. Immortals will have to just regroup and come back in with all of their players up. Grim Reality still staying on that in McCree. See, their Immortals are really going to have to look to him to shut down Nicholas, and so far he is getting those shots into him, bringing him down to half health, and Nicholas is just it's kind of confined to just spamming rockets into the back, maybe at the shield, or just dealing some of that chip damage from long. But now Nami is going to get a nano boost and go in. There's a Graviton laid onto the players of Immortals. Really need to get some heals down, but Winghaven comes through with an Earth Shatter of his own. 3 kills for CompLexity. Immortals were able to get a couple themselves, but I think that is CompLexity coming out on top of this fight. Grim Reality, I think he was still in there, but Nicholas shutting down hype. 7 health.
HP. It was a very close exchange. Nami almost capping it back, getting it about 2/3 of the way before Torque shows up. Torque's going to have a nano boost, and he's going to go straight into Immortals. Immortals going to be hard pressed to come back from that. Earth Shatter landing from the side of Immortals. Nami picking up, landing it on 2, but not following up for the rest of Immortals to convert those into kills. Self-destruct from CompLexity. Verbo, he's going to find Harblu, probably pushing him off there on the outside. Nami going to get Joe Meister.
Gets him off a charge, and Nami looking to clean up on a Torque right there. As Immortals, they come back onto the point. CompLexity, I mean, it was probably... It was quite a while ago when Immortals went up 2 kills. They had a 2-player advantage to start things off, but CompLexity did a really good job of just delaying as long as they could, really. But now Immortals running a double DPS comp at 2-2-2 set up for them as Agilities has switched over to the Genji. And CompLexity now have already brought Torque right back up, though, on the Winston for the counter.
It's an interesting exchange indeed. Immortals with 3 ultimates. CompLexity with just Barrage. Nicholas hasn't popped that from the start, if I remember correctly. 75% for CompLexity already. There's the Barrage from Nicholas, going to find Grim Reality. Harblu combining to find 2 more after that, and that's going to be pretty much clear-cutting Immortals for CompLexity. CompLexity's going to retake the point and perhaps their last possession on the first stage here.
Oh, Hype tried to come back in and stall the point a little bit longer, but he will be cleaned up pretty quick. He did, well, actually did stall it a bit. I thought CompLexity were going to get the cap, but they do in the end. They're at 80%. Immortals really need to win this next fight. Soon Agilities will have the Dragon Blade, and it will be a Nano Blade opportunity between that. They're going to be relying on that and the Earth Shatter coming up from Nami. To get themselves back into this fight, though, Winghaven is going to have it. There goes a Graviton down onto the Immortals players. 2 down. Ethan won't even be able to give Agilities that nano boost. He has the Dragon Blade at the ready now, but CompLexity, a pretty hefty advantage in terms of players. Agilities now trying to turn the tides in the favor of Immortals. Torque completely shuts it down, though. It doesn't matter if you got that Dragon Blade, because Torque is there to just hold that M1 on you. And that is going to be CompLexity looking as if they will... Well, hang on. Yes, Grim Reality goes down. He made the switch over to Tracer just to get back to that point, but CompLexity, a very strong start. Good job on making hero switches when they needed to. Torque, as soon as he saw that Agility's Genji up, right on Winston, shut it down.
Well, Immortals certainly trying to punch from their back foot that entire first stage, really. CompLexity just took it to him. I'd said I'd never seen Immortals start cold. I don't even know if that's necessarily them starting cold so much as CompLexity just ready to go. That's kind of a little bit of the old CompLexity. We saw some of it against Liquid, but certainly not on the control stage.
Yeah. No, they're looking to be back at least a bit further towards their older form, what we're used to seeing out of CompLexity. And I think for Immortals here, they stuck on that McCree for quite a while on Grim Reality, and they are going to be switching him up to Tracer now. I think that's that might end up working out a bit better for Immortals, but they're still running a 2-2-2 comp. And there is no Winston at the moment for CompLexity to deal with Agility, so it might be an opening opportunity for Immortals if they can focus down some of these squishies in the back line between Agilities and Grim Reality. Grim Reality's keeping him busy back there at the moment. He's really keeping the pressure onto them, and he's quite hurt himself. He's trying to finish off Torque, who is incredibly hurt, couldn't quite find the kill. Nami and Agility's both going down, and what looked to be a good start for Immortals is now quickly turning in favor of CompLexity. Hyped and Ethan are still up there, but I think this first point, yes, will go over to CompLexity. Grim Reality took out Joe Meister, though, so Immortals looking to re-engage rather quickly here. Grim Reality getting traded out, though, as Hard Blue finds that kill. A lot of presence from Immortals on the point at the moment, though. Nano Boost comes out onto Hard Blue. He's got a full charge. That is a very scary sight if you are Immortals. He gets put inside of the Graviton, though, and now the Immortals players looking to clean up, and Agilities on top of that is just going to use that Dragon Blade to make sure that Immortals retake the point here. So they flip-flop quickly, but Immortals had to use a bit to make that one happen, and CompLexity will certainly have some tools to retake.
Only 25% for CompLexity, though. That's a pretty good turnaround of possession for Immortals. They're going to have to hold it given that ultimate economy. CompLexity already coming back. Fire at will.
Graviton Surge out from Hard Blue. They trade 1-for-1. Attack Visor comes in from Torque. Takes out Agilities, helps get the kill on Nami. They're still trading. Immortals very much so still in this fight, especially now with Joe Meister going down thanks to Ethan. Well, Immortals will be able to hang on there, certainly. Nicholas, is just about to get back inside of the mech, but Hyped able to secure the kill, so Immortals take the advantage in time on point, and they will have some combinations soon coming up. They have only the Pulse Bomb for now, but Hyped working on that Graviton.
And Agility's working on a Dragon Blade as well. Already up to 45%. Ethan is going to have a Nano Boost in time to let that loose. Grim Reality kind of winning the fight against Torque with Agility's backing him up.
Earth Shatter from Winghaven. That'll help CompLexity quite a bit. 3 kills for them. And Nami uses his own Earth Shatter, he's barely hanging on at the moment. Not sure if that was the time to drop the Shatter or not. Immortals are still hanging on, though. Agility is hunted down by Nicholas. Over on the high ground side of the big pack, CompLexity able to swing the point back to their side. And, well, they'll be holding for now, but they don't have too much at the moment to work with. There will be a bomb combo coming up rather soon, but Immortals looking to retake and finish off this stage if they can, though. An aggressive Graviton being used by Hard Blue, and Nami will go down. So they get that one pick. It'll be just stalling out a bit more for them, but Shake getting caught forward by Agilities, and Agilities is going to use that Dragon Blade. 2 for him so far, and 3 now for Agilities. That is, it's just going to be cleanup onto all of CompLexity. They should look pretty good to retake point here, as Nicholas is just trying to stall as long as he can, but they will. I think that will be a retake coming through for Immortals, but we have a pause, as you can see.
We have a pause. We'll find out why that is here in just a moment. But one of the most interesting things about this versus this first point, where we saw, you guys pointed it out, Agility switches to Genji, Torque immediately switches onto Winston, shuts him down, puts it away. And now on the second point, we just see Agilities go off by himself, get 3 kills. Torque has been on Tracer for a while. He's been on Genji long enough to get a Dragon Blade. Why is he not playing Winston?
Well, I mean, you saw at least during the first stage of Lijiang, the Winston worked out beautifully for them to counter what Agilities is bringing out. I mean, so far, they're still kind of hanging in. I think bringing out Winston would, I mean, I can't see why they wouldn't do it. They haven't done it on the second stage so far. Agility's having a much easier time. He's getting a good bit of value out of some of these Dragon Blades that he's using. Doesn't even need the nano boost with him a lot of the time. So for Complexity, I'm not really sure why they're not breaking out the Winston. They certainly can do it. It worked for them on the first stage, but hey, I mean, they're hanging in there for now, but Immortals is about to retake this point, I think.
I don't think it's as favorable on this stage. A lot lower ceilings in the vast majority of it, and also Immortals was the one attacking most of the time on the last stage, while Complexity was already somewhat on defense. And Winston jumping into a fight late is significantly stronger than Winston jumping into the fight to start it all off.
Immortals do get the retake. Complexity looking to come back in. Engage here. Sound barrier out for Immortals. Hyped is going to lay it down, and now Nami will get Wing Haven. They're trading 1-for-1. Both Reinhardt's out of the fight. Complexity do have a one-player advantage at the moment, but they need to win this fight, and it looks as though they are going to be doing that, as Agility's one of the last lonely players that is still in for Immortals at the moment. Complexity just really trying to get all these Immortals guys off of the point here. So they do retake, but they have to hold for the rest of the map to take this stage, Complexity.
Which they look like they should be able to do here. They do have 5 ultimates in this next fight. Immortals really only an Earthshatter. Agilities will probably get his Dragon Blade out, but Immortals needs to choose this fight carefully. There is only one possession and probably only one fight left. That Earthshatter could be it.
Oh, there's going to be a bomb combo in. That shield is still up. It's now 5 versus 5 fight now. Sound barrier for Complexity. Torque gets 2 to start things off. 3 in total for Torque here for Complexity, as he is just cleaning up all these Immortals players. Grim Reality is still in there causing some havoc. Pulse Bomb takes out Joe Meister. It keeps Immortals irrelevant in the fight for now, but the rest of Complexity is there just doing work. Agility's using Dragon Blade. He's got to come up huge with that Hard Blue. Made a switch over to Winston. And then we'll take care of Agilities quite quickly. Hard Blue now getting a nano boost. The Biotic is on Nami. Just trying to stay alive, but I don't know if anybody will be there. No, they will not. For Immortals to touch the point.
Now that's a Winston moment. You've got to get back fast.
Yes.
Why not? You want to get all the way out there. But previous to that, Tracer's just so strong on that stage. I think there's a lot of dynamics coming into it. And honestly, Complexity was certainly going to know better than us. They broke it out both times they did. Winston paid off big time. Although, I mean, that's really just the very tail end of the fight. But hey, in an overtime situation, Winston is generally very strong. You got a lot of people stringing out in the DPM per HPM situation that's going on, or I guess DPS per HPS in a fast-paced game like this. And Winston can throw in there, and once his shield's up, tasing multiple people at once, that tilts fights very, very quickly.
Yeah, that's a good pick, just getting back to the point fast as well. And
this is a hard recovery for Complexity. I didn't think they were going to be able to push back through that after they whiffed that Earthshatter.
Yeah, well, they made it work in the end, that's for sure. Ooh, Ethan picking Nicholas out of the sky. That's 2 quick kills for Immortals, so that is certainly going to go to Immortals to start, as already gotten a few kills, 3 for Immortals at the moment. So they'll be able to grab point first, as some of Complexity just going through resetting. Getting the squad back together. Grim Reality is back on the McCree. Keep in mind to try and deal with this Nicholas Farah, and Torque is going to be moving over to the Winston for now, and Nicholas actually switching to Diva. Interesting swaps here, but it is quad tank for Complexity. And Torque is just jumping over the wall at the start. Charge in from Nami is going to help deal significant damage to Torque, and Grim Reality is there to clean up on it. So 2 kills yet again for Immortals here, and they are just blowing through the Complexity at the moment as they tried to re-engage. It's worth taking the fight, but now Immortals are coming up online with ultimates. So is Complexity. Torque is saying scrap the Winston. He's now made it switch over to 76. Complexity.
Immortals here, basically going to be working with 6 ultimates in this next fight. Complexity with only 2. Perhaps Joe Meister will get out a sound barrier, and they will need it if they want to retake. Otherwise, they're just going to be trying to bleed ultimates out of Immortals. Immortals going to go ahead and press into CompLexity and not give them a choice when this fight is going to happen. Backing off just a little bit here and drawing CompLexity onto the point.
Deadeye in the back. That shield is still up. It's very close to going down. Fires it off just as it comes down. He's able to get Winghaven. He's dealing off quite a bit more damage on top of that. Nami got a nano boost, and kills are actually going the way of CompLexity at the moment, as they do have a lot of presence on this point. There comes the rest of the cleanup for CompLexity, but still a great first take and hold from Immortals to get themselves back into the game. They're at 85%. Really, for them, it's just take one more fight, win it, and they have this stage.
Yeah, that might be enough, but CompLexity, I don't know if they should have taken that point back with how much of an ultimate advantage Immortals had. Perhaps if Immortals was going to give it up, there's actually no sense in holding on to ultimates in that scenario or closing in on a victory either way. CompLexity, they're going to be trying to hold this pretty much for the rest of the game, otherwise Immortals is going to take this stage.
Immortals with a brilliant start to this fight. Hardblue goes down thanks to a hook. Oh, Agility is getting sent off by Joe Meister, so 1-for-1 trade, a 5 versus 5 fight here on this point. Nami and Winghaven both just swinging away at each other as Immortals looking to shut this one down. There is going to be a Graviton in off to the side of the point. Torque is taking care of Grim Reality. Hyped goes down. There is going to be an Earth Shatter through as well. Nami has a nano boost on himself. Should be able to clean up on a couple of kills here, as dealt quite a bit of damage. Nami now using that Earth Shatter. That might just secure it for Immortals. 2 kills for them. Agility's going through, cleaning up on a lot of that damage that Nami put out there. Nami's very, very hurt at the moment. Needs to get some heals. Couldn't quite stay alive, but Nicholas now getting demeched. Oh, CompLexity keeping themselves in the fight, though, as they get a couple kills for themselves. It is a back-and-forth affair on both sides, and really CompLexity are just buying time. They're still ticking up on this point at the moment, and Immortals still can't seem to come on top of the fight. And this might be CompLexity hanging on, as Nami is still in there. He got himself back to the point, but now he's just going for the reset. CompLexity come out on top of the fight. Immortals came close time and time again, but now CompLexity taking the lead. Immortals will have one more shot at this point.
Yeah, but Immortals isn't going to be able to count on a Nano Blade. It's just going to be Agility's Dragon Blade on its own. Grim Reality with a Deadeye can perhaps support him a little bit, in a Sound Barrier for Verbo to perhaps make it work, but CompLexity certainly looking good to close this out.
Hardblue laid off the Graviton, but died shortly after using it, so there's a one-player advantage for Immortals and a good Sound Barrier to keep Grim Reality alive, who is so hurt. Winghaven falls. Nami gets him, so they do have a 2-player advantage at the moment, as those respawns from CompLexity are still coming back. Immortals are finding all the kills there. That's essentially a wipe. Hardblue is back on Winston. It is 90% now for Immortals. We'll see one last attempt from CompLexity to try and get in. Hardblue sending himself all the way over on the side. Agility's getting a Nano Blade. Oh, I thought it was going to be a Nano Blade. He just goes in for a pure Dragon Blade on himself there, and I think this one might be all Immortals, as CompLexity has lost 3 players now, and it is just 1 left on the point. Nicholas trying to stay alive. He uses self-destruct, might be able to zone that for a little bit. He ends up going down. Hardblue's made his way back onto it. Actually should be able to kill Agilities. Yes, he will. He'll stall it for a bit longer, but Deadeye comes out from Grim Reality in the back. Immortals gets themselves on the board. Still 2-1 on Li Jiang here, but that's the first step for Immortals to getting back in for sure.
It's still match point. CompLexity just needs one more of these stages to close out the first map here, but Immortals with a pretty nice comeback there when they were on the ropes.
Yeah, that, I mean, it's better late than never, as they say, to pick up the round, but CompLexity did a good job of stalling out really a lot of time on that last stage, and it was just right in the end, Immortals were able to take that one fight, just that one fight, and regain control of the point. From there, it was just CompLexity throwing bodies on it, really, and just hoping for players from Immortals to magically die. That's all they could do in the scenario.
Looks like CompLexity expecting Agilities again. They're staying with Torque on Winston to try and counter that. Nicholas back on Pharah. Got a lot of air supremacy for the side of CompLexity. Immortals pretty much every flanker they could need here. Nicholas staying above, raining rockets from above. He's going to be focusing on Nami. Nami's going to go down.
It's good. Winghaven able to finish off the kill. And Hype goes down. We're only able to convert 1 kill onto Hardblue, Immortals. And should certainly go to CompLexity to start things off. His Agilities might just narrowly escape. He'll meet up with the rest of his team. But Immortals still running this double DPS comp. They have Grim Reality on the Tracer. Agilities, of course, on the Genji. But it's good on CompLexity to run Torque on the Winston. I think to at least counter Agilities, who is very close to a Dragon Blade at the moment. He does have it available, and he will use it now as they get that first kill to start it off. Shaken Joe Meister down. Agilities with 2 kills for himself. Torque, in the end, gets the finishing blow onto Agilities, but they get a team wipe. Immortals with the last laugh right there, retaking the point in pretty good time. 33% was all CompLexity was able to put down on it. And Immortals will have a decent bit of ultimate game to try and defend with here as well.
They will have 4 on their side once Nami gets his Earth Shatter online, but CompLexity, Torque now changing over to Diva, and Agility's back to Roadhog. CompLexity's got 2 ultimates to work with, and perhaps a Nano Barrage going to be in the cards.
Oh, Winghaven very hurt. Someone's got to clean that up. Yes, Grim Reality finds it, and now he's looking to hunt down Nicholas potentially, who's quite hurt himself. A couple of staggered kills out here from Immortals will just allow them to stay in control of this point for the time being. And good to see Agility's back on the hog. He was making Genji pretty useful throughout that one Dragon Blade, helped them retake the point, but I think overall you're going to see continued value out of him being on Roadhog.
Nicholas still holding on to the Barrage, and now with Hardblue getting a Graviton.
Oh no. Say it ain't so hard, but the Graviton being eaten up. And that's a disaster for CompLexity though. Nicholas with the Nano boost has been able to get 1. They traded out, but Nicholas still going to town up there in the skies. Not really much that Immortals has to deal with that threat of Nicholas flying around, other than maybe a hook from Agilities or a couple stray shots from Athan. But Immortals, oh my goodness, Hyped is just going to town on Diva. Never mind, 3 kills for him. Winghaven still keeping CompLexity in the fight though, as he is able to get a few kills himself. It's a very back and forth fight, but Immortals will be able to hold on here as they're at 90%, looking to even this game back up. CompLexity is going to have to get to the point and do it rather quickly as well. Try and get back on it.
The hero of this stage for Immortals, swallowing an ultimate that would have probably given CompLexity the possession back, and also cleaning up a number 2 self-destructs coming out. Hype finds 2.
Hyped with another 2. He is just going off at the moment. 3 kills. Him and Grim Reality combine for a total of 5. Immortals slowly working themselves back into this game. They tie up Lijiang Tower at 2-2. We will see one final stage to decide who takes map 1, but good resiliency from Immortals to get themselves back into this game.
I think if Hyped hadn't swallowed that Graviton, that would have been CompLexity.
Could have been a very, very different story.
They had a Graviton, a Nano, and a Barrage. You throw the Graviton out, they already were throwing Nano on the Barrage.
Yeah.
And you just make sure to shield Pharah. That would be utterly devastating unless Hyped either absorbed the entire Barrage or the Graviton. And instead, it looked like he did a little bit of both, in particular the Graviton out of the mix. Now Immortals has tied this up 2-2. What looked like it could certainly be CompLexity's first map is now up for grabs as they go back on Lijiang Tower to resolve this map once and for all. Whoever takes this stage will take the first point.
That's right. All comes down to this one, at least for our first map. Agility's back onto the Genji. The 2-2-2 setup from Immortals. Yet again, they've really been liking that today on Lijiang Tower. So let's see if it pays off for them this time. Agility's quickly dispatched by Hardblue. Winghaven chimes in to get a kill for himself as well. Make that 2 kills for Winghaven as CompLexity starting off strong on this one. And that should be, well, one easy or a quick alt build for Hardblue there right at the end to kill Hyped, but point will go over to CompLexity first here. And Agility still staying on that Genji. He's really been building up Dragon Blades quite quickly, already sitting at 80%. And they'll be looking to engage immediately. Immortals is Agility's very, very close to it, but charging in his Winghaven, and Nicholas is going to get some kills. Hardblue at A pretty high charge, and he's got the nano boost as well. A wipe coming out from CompLexity. The horn sounds, and Immortals, though, soon to be up on some ultimates that maybe they can retake with.
CompLexity dominant so far on this stage. 40% on their side. Torque still holding on to a Pulse Bomb. Winghaven and Earthshatter. Harblue, he's 10% away from a Graviton. There's at least one bomb combo looming for CompLexity. Immortals, though, they've just got a Dragon Blade.
There's a Graviton coming down from Harblue. Oh, the Pulse Bomb in from Torque. That'll be a couple agilities with that Dragon Blade at the ready, but he'll just wait on it, go meet up with the rest of his team. CompLexity, and just really snowballing at the moment. But Immortals are finally starting to get a lot of these big ults online. Grim Reality actually switching over to McCree and try and deal with Torque.
So Graviton, an Earthshatter, a Nano, and a Dragon Blade for Immortals. They might have to dump all of them to make it get through CompLexity here.
Right here, Agilities has that Nano Blade at the ready. He's using it. He'll combine. Well, he helps to get really all three of those kills, but Immortals certainly coming out on top of this fight. But it will be Nicholas trying to stall at least as long as he can. He will put CompLexity up to just, yes, 95% for CompLexity. So this Earthshatter on the next fight is going to have to be really big from Nami.
Gonna have to buy a lot of time with that Earthshatter and really just follow up regular old play with no ultimates on their side. CompLexity have a Nano Boost and an Earthshatter of their own. Right now they are looking like if they can take it back, Nicholas, actually he's gonna be put down by that Earthshatter.
Both Reinhardts using their Earthshatters. Nami used his to try and shut down Nicholas. And he was able to shut him down for a little while. Harblue using Graviton, but nobody caught inside of it on that one. And that'll be no kills for CompLexity. And Torque even using Pulse Bomb, but to no avail. But in the end, CompLexity are getting a lot of the kills right here. 3 players down for Immortals. It's looking good to take map number 1. They do get the point back in their favor. Grim Reality only able to take down Torque, and they need someone to go stand on that point, and I don't think anybody will be able to get there in time. They take out Agilities, who did get there, but still, it's a last dash attempt for these Immortals guys to get themselves on the point. Regardless, even if they get themselves there, they need to find the kills. That's what really matters for them. They do get bodies back onto the point, but they're still losing players, just staggered back and forth. Hyped is, he's able to get Joe Meister, but that will seal it in the end. CompLexity will take map number 1 here in an all-out brawl to kick us off.
They take map number 1. It looked like it was going to be a sweep, and then they made us wait for it. It went all the way to round 5. But CompLexity looking in entirely different form in this group stage than we saw in the previous one.
Yeah, they're looking a lot better. I mean, a little bit shaky as Immortals came back, but I think it was more Immortals kind of finding their rhythm a bit more. But CompLexity are looking much, much better now. It's good to see them getting back to some of their old form. And excited to see what they can do through the rest of this match and the group stage.
It's much more the CompLexity we saw in qualifiers that we thought was going to do very well here throughout the group stage. They barely stayed alive through the round 1, but so far looking great in round 2.
They are looking very, very good, and part of that is Torque. The way that he has been able to play all the heroes he played, one of them was Soldier here, and he was able to make a big difference for this particular map.
Gotta love having Torque on your roster, because you can play quite the assortment of different heroes at a very high level, and this just very good positional awareness, wrapping back and forth between sides of the point, keeping himself alive, and helping them to try and retake this point. And inevitably did. So, Torque, he can do them all.
Yeah, that was one of the big things I noticed about this was Torque in particular, but all of CompLexity using everything they possibly could to beat Immortals here, picking whatever hero they needed, always making sure they were countering the big threats on the side of Immortals. And it was we didn't see a lot of switching from Immortals. Every once in a while we saw like Grim Reality switching to deal with Torque or something like that, but the moment they realized the big threat that we were countering a moment ago is no longer on the field, they switched to whatever they needed to, and they got the win here.
Yeah, for Immortals, they're switching. It's kind of more so just Grim Reality and Agilities switching up what roles they're playing a lot of the time. But CompLexity have tremendous amounts of diversity, I think, in some of the roles that their guys can play. Immortals also have some of that sitting in their bank as well. I think CompLexity has maybe just a bit more, but still pretty close match thus far.
I'd say the biggest difference I see between CompLexity in group play phase 1, the first round, and CompLexity in the second round is no hesitation.
Yeah.
They're not really waiting. They're taking the tempo away from their opponent. They're dictating exactly when that fight happens. They're trying to make it happen on their terms, and that was what I loved so much about CompLexity in the qualifiers. So if they can keep that going for them, perhaps this will actually be a 2-0 on their side, though. I still think it's going to be a 2-1.
So I think it's going to be a 2-1. Well, we're going to be going to Dorado to decide who wins map number 2. Now, this is going to be, we've seen some shutouts here today. We might actually see points scored on both sides. Who knows? What do you guys think?
This is a rough one because CompLexity was, I mean, they looked very, very good here earlier.
Certainly a better pick than Eichenwald.
Yeah, that's true. That's a tough one. I'm thinking CompLexity could still come out on top of this one, but Immortals must feel confident here. They wouldn't have picked it. So time will tell, I suppose, but it'll be interesting. Dorado.
Based on the first map, it's anybody's game.
Yeah.
Anybody's game. Now, we didn't see any Sombra on Li Zhang. We did see Sombra be super, super effective here on Dorado. You expect us to see them with that again? And what does Immortals need to do to deal with it?
I mean, one of the just general points of dealing with Sombra is your positioning to avoid try and limit at least how many people get affected by the EMP. Now, in general, it's always pretty much a guaranteed pick, at least on your Reinhardt or something, when you go in with an EMP push, because somebody's going to get targeted with the EMP and they're probably going to die. But in terms of them, just trying to spread out as much as possible. But we'll see if they even run it.
I don't know if you can do that on Dorado.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's tough to do in certain scenarios, depending on what the map is. So that's just one of the ways you can deal with Sombra.
All right.
But here we go, Dorado. It is CompLexity with the 1-map lead at the moment, as they were able to take Li Zhang Tower. And very close 3-2 exchange on that map. But it is Dorado now. CompLexity will start on the offense. We'll see if they decide to go with any bit of Sombra, but Immortals.
I think they're going to stick to Torque on Genji.
Right, worked for him.
Before.
Yep, worked for him there. Worked for them brilliantly, really. And Immortals looking as though they want to have Verbo on that Symmetra, which, as we see, is a very popular pick on the Dorado defense. But on top of that, they'll have Grim Reality with 76.
Such strong choke points. Throwing that shield into the shield war is just such a problem. See people trying to reach around and get a hook in when they know a shield is down or somebody's readjusting, and they jump around the corner for the surprise, and surprise right back at you. They're bouncing that hook right off of a Symmetra shield that's just floating through, and it fits underneath that bridge quite well. However, seeing every offense so far today push the card up into the bridge, then rotate underneath through the stairs and up the left side to try and take kind of a more favorable approach for themselves, which makes a whole lot of sense. Immortals actually doing a little bit of the old fortress on top, delaying CompLexity just a little bit, or at least that's the idea so far. CompLexity not stopping for even a moment. Grim Reality already finding Hardblue, though.
I don't know where it was that Hardblue went. He got taken down that quick. I didn't manage to catch it, but Hardblue does fall. He'll have a quick respawn back in the fight, though. So now we're getting to the phase of Immortals, who started off up top. They're now rotated back around to the choke point, and Winghaven is going to go down to the helix of Grim Reality and Torque in the backline.
I think he's just spamming shurikens to try and generate his ultimate.
Yeah.
In the same way that he does with Sombra. Just get back there, generate it, and dump it early.
Yeah, that, and also just, I mean, he's being a distraction to the Immortals defense. I mean, you know, you at least draw Grim Reality back. That's less pressure that he can put onto the choke point. But CompLexity looking to posture into, well, they're going to be moving around into the courtyard. And Torque is still back there just trying to be a nuisance, but Grim Reality isn't biting so far, so he's going to have to move forward. He's a little bit hurt. Hardblue going down again, this time to agility. His height is taken out by Winghaven. 3 kills for Immortals. A good start to their defense. right here, and Torque is finished off in the end by Agilities. And Verbo soon to have his ultimate. I would suspect the teleporter to be up quite shortly.
Torque landing flat-footed for a moment there with no dash, standing next to a Symmetra. I thought he was going to go down to Verbo instantaneously and give Verbo the ultimate, but managed to get away, last long enough for Agilities to pop him in the back of the head with a shotgun. CompLexity, Shake has Nano, Winghaven is working on his Earth Shatter, and Torque, he's going to be looking to combine that Nano Blade here in the next fight. Immortals, however, they're going to have 5 on their side any second now. Really only Nami the one without his ultimate up, but that Earth Shatter in the right circumstances can get generated really quickly. Hyped already, trying to be sneaky on the side and look for a good Graviton.
He comes right in onto the cart. Torque had used, oh my goodness, Torque shut down by Agilities and Grim Reality. Got the Nano Blade and was just crushed by Agilities and Grim Reality, and the rest of Immortals able to come through and get a lot of cleanup onto the rest of CompLexity, and they're now down to 1 minute and 15 seconds to make something happen. This Immortals defense is looking very good at the moment, and of course they also have that teleporter up as well.
Yeah, Nami generating that Earth Shatter in about 2 swings into the middle of the Graviton field. Grim Reality attack visor up as well. Immortals can try and combine those to hold for another minute, but CompLexity is going to be pushing in with a sound barrier, Earth Shatter of their own, and that self-destruct is going to pick up Agilities.
Shake did go down for CompLexity. They used the sound barrier in. Joe Meister popped it off, and Nicholas able to get Agilities, as we said, and now CompLexity are starting to find the kills. They need to find that teleporter, though. They start to come back. Nicholas is in there pressuring it, but you have Agilities is trying to at least tank for the teleporter as long as he possibly can for these respawns to come back through, and he is able to tank it long enough, and now Earthshatter comes in from Nami. Not quite going to connect onto the players of CompLexity, but still, they at least get these players back onto the card. Harblue finds one to take down Verbo, and Agilities down to 14 health, has a biotic on himself, gets taken out. Harblue, though, going in with a whole hog, secures 3 kills for CompLexity, and it looks like they will be able to come out. Yes, they will be able to get this capture on the point. A valiant effort by Immortals. A solid defense overall, though, able to kill a lot of time off of this CompLexity offense.
Well, that was a very thin line before a first point capture for CompLexity in a full hold for Immortals. Immortals was probably a little disappointed with that one, but it was very, very good for wasting time. Only 2 minutes and 15 seconds left here as CompLexity tries to push through the streets phase. Immortals taking the high ground by the church. Nicholas trying to get some people knocked off, but not able to find what he was looking for. Nami actually taking a little bit of a bump there from Zarya, but not going to fall off. Again, he's going to go ahead and choose to drop on his own terms right now. Some Immortals have only got a whole hog to work with, but Athan's working on a nano boost. Harblue up top's just going to execute Grim Reality, and this is starting to look better and better for CompLexity.
Get that 1-player advantage, and it's go time as they even get the D-Mech onto Hyped, who so far has not been taken down, but Torque was for CompLexity. Nami got slept in the middle of the nano boost that he was given, and there's still, Nami's just kind of separated. Yeah, he was all on the cart all by himself. The rest of his team backed up inside a bank, and they couldn't really give any support to their Reinhardt that was caught in alone. So now Immortals trying to back up, regroup, but CompLexity is getting some free ground off of this cart. Torque has got a Graviton at the ready. They even have an Earth Shatter on top of that. And Immortals not going to have too much to work with here. Graviton does come out. Nami very low on health. Should be taken care of pretty quickly, though. He's getting the heals. He actually kept alive, but the Earth Shatter from Winghaven is going to help secure that kill. They trade 1 for 1. Both Reinhardts taken out of the fight. Verbo killed by Harblue, so they're still going at it on the card. Self-destruct is going to land in the middle of it. Nicholas takes out Agilities. With that, but Grim Reality comes back with a response himself. Didn't even need to use Tac Visor for it. And the fight continues at the moment. Grim Reality even able to get Harblue right here. So Immortals are going to be able to hang on for now. CompLexity having to back up and regroup with the team. A good defense coming through. There's only 30 seconds for CompLexity to work with.
Very, very important hold for Immortals there. Like you said, it only 20 seconds left for CompLexity. They only have a nano boost to work with, but Immortals, they're going to have a nano visor, and that's going to be utterly devastating in the hands of Grim Reality.
Nicholas uses his, and Oh, and now the Nano Visor is going to come out from Immortals. He's back there at Grim Reality with 2, looking to clean up on a couple more. Nicholas was too busy trying to use the Nano Boost himself to find value out of it. Couldn't shut down Grim Reality, and that'll be Immortals hanging on right here. CompLexity getting wiped off the face of Dorado. And Immortals are going to hold them before they can even get the second checkpoint. A very, very good start to this match. For this map, I should say, for Immortals to get back into the game.
This is definitely Immortals' opportunity to get back in. If they can get it through the first point, it's honestly mostly just a matter of time until they get through the streets phase there. CompLexity would have gotten through with another 30 seconds on their side, but like you called out, once the Nano came out for Nicholas, he was far more focused on getting his than perhaps CompLexity should have been on defending against the inevitable Nano Visor from Grim Reality. Just a little bit of a mismanagement there. I'm not sure if they lost track of the ultimates that were available for CompLexity or just didn't necessarily think it through very clearly. That Nano on almost anybody else might have been a better selection. I'm generally a big fan of a Nano on a D.Va.
Sure.
But in that situation, you absolutely got to hold on to your defense matrix just to be a little bit preemptive in your defense.
Right, and I think for CompLexity, I think that was just them. Like you had said, I think for them it was probably just a not keeping track of the ultimates that were up for Immortals at the time. I think they just lost track of the fact that Grim Reality had a Nano Visor ready to use, and if you knew that going into it, obviously you don't give the Nano to your D.Va because your D.Va needs to be able to shut down that Nano Visor, and you have to expect Grim Reality being in the position that he was in, up on that high ground, up on the balcony. That's easy positioning where a lot of 76s like to sit. And
we are just speculating, though. At the same time, they could have just had one ultimate, let it loose on whoever was the most obvious target to help aid in the fight, which in that case would be probably Nicholas. And then Nicholas not necessarily thinking the whole situation through. I mean, it could be a team leader thing. It could be just a synergy thing. There's 100 different, not really that many, but there's a few different possibilities. What could it have been? Either way, CompLexity could have had that second point, gave it up, and Immortals able to stay alive. Perhaps on Dorado, this is going to be their map to win. Joe Meister already up to 67% on his Symmetra.
Yeah, he's really... He had some good placement of turrets and some of the right clicks. 80% for him already. I mean, he might be able to put a teleporter down before the first fight even really engages. Winghaven charges in, will take Nami into the wall, but ends up paying his life for it as Hyped is able to convert on the kill. Now 2 kills, 3 for Immortals. Steamrolling through on this offense. Things are not looking good for CompLexity. They did get a teleporter up in time. Can they get the players back in before they cap this first point? I don't think they're going to be able to. Charging back in, no, they do get there. They get a couple bodies on it, but the Immortals players are just shredding through CompLexity as they try and come back into the point. And Immortals are looking great off this offense, and they want to send this one into a third and final map.
Immortals just taking the opportunity, not even necessarily shut down the teleporter, but farm a whole lot of ultimate charge out of it if your name is Agilities. Taking shots at everybody as they go into the back, guaranteeing that Immortals would get the point and then some. You're going to be rolling here into the second and final stage of Dorado. Immortals looking incredibly good to extend this series onto a third map.
They've got so much time to work with. They don't even need to get the full second point here. Both D.Vas are going to get nano boosted. And Torque has attack visor at the ready for CompLexity. He's sitting in decent position for it. Might not even need to actually use it, though, as they get the DMAC on the Hype now. Does have a pretty open opportunity for the attack visor if he wants to use it, but at this point, Immortals can't really push anyway as they kill Hype, so he'll save that. Oh, Grim Reality nearly going down as well.
Probably want to hold on to that until you see a bit more momentum out of Immortals and then gut the back line. But at the same time, Immortals got 5 ultimates online. I don't know if gutting the backline is going to be enough. CompLexity might have to dump everything just to stay alive in this one fight.
Immortals have a lot to work with, as you said. CompLexity, though, some big ults for them as well. There will be that attack visor out from Torque. Up top, Agility's taking care of him. Now there will be Gravitons and a self-destruct used from CompLexity, but Immortals now are just continuing to clean up kills. They are looking to send this one They said to a third and final map. Nicholas is in at the moment. He's got a biotic on himself. He's gets dispatched up quickly. Hardblue, one of the few remaining players in CompLexity that are still in. Immortals looking home free right now to send this one into the third map. Torque, though, Earthshatter did come through, but no, will not be enough for them as the CompLexity players just trickling in, but it's not enough. Immortals are sending it on to a third and final map here with CompLexity.
It looked like it was more people than it was. I think that's the double name on Diva.
Yeah.
Sending me for a loop.
Well, man, that's big response.
Absolutely, yeah. After having a 5-round thriller on Li Zhang, we go very, very quickly. We did have points scored on both sides of Dorado this time, but we saw Immortals taking the win, and we will go to a third map.
Yeah, really solid performance from Immortals. Great offense to get it kicked off, and they had a stellar defense as well, not only on the first point, but on the through that second Streets phase as well. Immortals looking really good on the hybrid maps or the just straight payload for sure.
We'll take another look at that final fight from Immortals as they're able to send this one to that third map. They get the win here on Dorado.
Sending that Graviton in. A little bit risky with the diva out in the field, but
yeah,
because he sent that one from range. But I'm sure he had some intel that it was safe to do so.
Kind of blind around a corner while in his own Graviton.
Yeah, he just said screw it. It worked out for him. So
I don't know if it should though.
Yeah,
that's one of the ones you want to kind of go back and look at a number of times. But either way, Immortals were probably going to take that point with the amount of time they had left. So
yeah,
you don't want to be too wasteful with it at the same time.
Yeah,
that was going to go Immortals' way as soon as CompLexity didn't push it past the second point.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part of that map was Agility's tanking for the teleporter. When Nicholas was trying to get on it, like that was a very, very clutch play. You knew exactly what Nicholas was trying to do, and he just like, no, I'm gonna stop this. I'm gonna make sure I'm taking the damage. I have a lot more health than this teleporter does.
That was a huge play. I mean, he was able to sit there and tank that teleporter, and then it allowed his team to get respawns, come back out there. I mean, it was a pretty big play to make, and it was one of the few that helped Immortals get the win.
So map number 2 will be Eichenwald. We'll do all 3 of the new maps today here in Immortals versus CompLexity. So this was a map that CompLexity, both teams looked pretty decent on it earlier today. Both of them picked it when they lost. So clearly something they've been practicing. Yep. We've seen both sides take a win apiece here. You guys sticking with predictions here? I think you both went with Immortals, I believe.
Yeah, I did. Now, going on to Eichenwald certainly makes things interesting because CompLexity looked pretty wild here, to say the least. I'll still stick with Immortals, but I could see a world where CompLexity takes it. It's very much a possibility.
If Immortals are able to kind of vacuum the momentum out of Torque's Sombra play,
which you know is coming, I mean,
then they can probably do a full hold on the first point.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's going to get messy. I'm still going to keep my vote in the Immortals side just because I don't like to change. But it's definitely anybody's game either way. CompLexity's certainly showing up to play.
Now, while we're waiting for one of the players to get in the game, we just saw CompLexity play Dorado twice. Was there any big differences other than the scoreline that you noticed in CompLexity's like gameplay here? Anything that they did on the first time where they were able to get the win that they didn't do this time to drop the game to Immortals?
I mean, I'm sure I'm missing some of the finer details just throughout the day, seeing a lot of gameplay, missing some from the first match. But I think there was times where Winghaven would kind of charge in. I saw him kind of get picked off.
That was the first point.
Yeah, and he would go down, and I mean that's a crucial guy to lose at the beginning. And I think a lot of it too is just Immortals were really, really playing well on Dorado, and CompLexity just didn't quite have it together as much as they did before. But moving on to Eichenwald, that's one of CompLexity's wheelhouses. So it's gonna be a good match.
I'm excited, guys.
Here we go. Third and final map. CompLexity and Immortals. These guys have given us a good one so far. CompLexity took the first map, getting Li Zhang Tower, and then Immortals striking back as they take Dorado in a dominant performance. Now we will see. It will be Eichenwald. Both teams. Sorry, go ahead, David.
Big thing here for CompLexity. If Chopmeister is able to generate that teleporter as quickly as he did, on Dorado. Probably just want to hold off on any sort of aggressive counterplays until he actually gets the teleporter down. He had it. He had it ready to go when the whole Winghaven charging in situation, which might not be Winghaven's fault. It could be just some maybe Shake was pushed out of position. A number of different things. Healing around the fountain on Dorado can be a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
So Winghaven went down relatively quickly. I think a Biotic was also placed on him. And Nami did a good job of kind of enveloping him in the shield and letting the rest of Immortals dive on him. But just in general, if Joe Meister is locked and loaded with a teleporter or a shield generator or whatever he's going to use, perhaps just lay off for just a moment until you can drop it and get back in the fight. If you give him that opportunity, then you're running with a whole 6-man, and if anything goes wrong, you've got the redundancy of a teleporter.
Good Biotic is going to land early. Got onto a few
It's interesting
players.
to see who does that and who doesn't.
Yeah, right?
No, Ethan on Zenyatta. They're coming out with a dive for Immortals.
All right.
It's great on Eichenwald.
Yeah, we saw it work earlier for some guys on this map, so hey, we'll see. Joe Meister goes down right away. Agilities gets in. He finds 2 kills, but CompLexity are keeping themselves in it as they were able to get 3 and 4. Winghaven getting quite a lot of those, already building 73% charge on his Earth Shatter. They did get 1, though. Immortals, they were able to get Joe Meister, but he's already getting up there in his teleporter percentage. So
66%, but Winghaven's already at 80 on his Earth Shatter. Immortals haven't generated anything over 70, but Agility's, he's right at it right now. If he and Ethan combine, that's going to be a Dragon Blade in the middle of a Tranquility. That could combine the right way, but either way, most of this fight's not going to happen by the gate. It's going to happen on the point.
it was good from Immortals to try and rush the fight as they got Joe Meister, and they take down Joe Meister again before he can put his teleporter down. So for Immortals at this point, you need to regroup real quick before Joe Meister maybe can get back to the point. That would be big for them.
If he comes in and drops the teleporter, they can press forward into the gate, and then that's going to be... Actually, no, I don't think you want to do that on a dive, pardon me. I'm just kind of playing back on the point here, using the point itself and the second floor right behind them. Right now, Immortals just not able to find much momentum. Agility's going to break out that Dragon Blade right now.
Teleporters up. Athan takes down Hard Blue. CompLexity still finding the kills. Joe Meister even shutting down Agilities. And, oh man, it is just all CompLexity. They have that teleporter up. They are going to be feeling good, though. Hyped, able to wrap around back to the teleporter and take it out, which is crucial for Immortals when they try and re-push onto this point.
Still a minute and 55 seconds left for Immortals, and they're still playing with the dive. The dive's kind of one of those things. I don't know, if it doesn't work immediately, you should at least see a little bit of cracks out of the people you're attempting to assault to keep running it. A hard decision at this point. I mean, a minute and 40, you've already generated a number of ultimates. Either way, Immortals going to have to make it work at this point. CompLexity, though, they haven't given up an inch.
Leading in with a Transcendence is Immortals, and again, they get Joe Meister. It's been a frequent pick for them off the start of these fights. Graviton Surge is used by CompLexity, and they strike back with 3 more kills. Yet again, Immortals started off with 2 for themselves, but CompLexity using the Graviton Torque, cleaning house of the Immortals players as they were, oddly enough, inside of the house. And it is just, I mean, all CompLexity on this defense.
That was the master plan of Torque there. Graviton pulling most of Immortals into the car wash to get Joe Meister up to 90% on his ultimate. This is looking very bad for Immortals at this point.
CompLexity have a lot of ults online. Hardblue using the whole hog. 3 more kills for CompLexity. This is a troublesome spot now for Immortals. The teleporter's down for CompLexity. Immortals is, well, Hype doing a good job. That's the one thing we can say about Immortals so far in this situation. They've had a tough time pushing on the offense, but Hyped has at least done a brilliant job of getting to the back and killing the teleporter as soon as it goes up. But this is last attempt for Immortals.
Immortals, their last assault, they might have a Transcendence in it. They will have a sound barrier in it. CompLexity is going to have a self-destruct, but other than that, it's going to be just mostly teams playing with no ultimates up. And so far, this has been completely in CompLexity's favor. That self-destruct is going to find Verbo, though.
2 kills for CompLexity, 3 for them. Immortals just getting completely dumpstered on this first point. They can't get anything going on their offense. It is just a full wipe yet again coming out from CompLexity. And that is a full hold. First point, Eichenwald. Oh my. Well, the Immortals are going to have to pull out a heck of a defense as we switch sides if they want to stay in this match. But Winghaven really made some clutch plays for CompLexity throughout that, as well as Torque. They both had big Earth Shatters, some big Gravitons. And like I said, one of the few things we can give Immortals for that is Hype's ability to go back and get the teleporter right away. But, I mean, the dive comp, they stayed on it for quite a while, and it just wasn't working.
That's pretty much all there is to it.
Yeah.
CompLexity was prepared for it. They pulled back into the right configuration, made the dive comp kind of work in their favor. Perhaps Immortals should have given it up. Perhaps there was another angle to do it right. It's one of those ones you just want to keep looking over and over and over again. Perhaps once they realized kind of what CompLexity was doing with more of a fortress, I don't know if there is any better option to that aside from maybe just 4 tanks and trying to go through, but then that's going to push directly up to the gate. I could theory craft this for a long time and argue with myself. Or we could just ask a pro and they'll tell us what they think. Either way, for Immortals, they weren't able to find an answer to it either, and CompLexity was certainly comfortable with it, so I guess we're not alone in being a little bit confused about how you would even take that down. Right now, it's going to be CompLexity's turn on offense, and Immortals' only hope is to hold CompLexity on the first point for a full 4 minutes and take this into a tiebreaker map.
That's the best they can hope for here. And for CompLexity, I mean, what a comeback story for them. Struggling so much throughout much of the group stages, narrowly making it in to the top 6. But they got a second chance at life, and they won their first match earlier today with a good shot at beating the team that is leading the group stage at the moment, the Winter Premiere. A very close match nonetheless, but it's an opportunity that CompLexity wants to capitalize on right here and right now, as they're just working on their setup, and they will have Sombra, and I mean, that EMP is almost ready to go for them, and this could be a quick end to Immortals, as Verbo, though, soon to be up on his teleporter.
Torque already ready with an EMP.
It's ridiculous.
Just moments away. Or, never mind.
Oh,
Will he survive?
Narrowly gets out, has the EMP ready. I don't know how he made it out of there. If you're Immortals, you want that one back, because Torque should have been dead meat right there.
He's just too skinny, I think. I think Agilities just didn't connect with enough of the projectiles for the shotgun. He pulled him in point blank. Perhaps a little bit of a bump to take it out. Sometimes that happens with like Baby Diva.
I mean, for
some of these
Immortals,
really thin characters.
I would have thought the rest of the team would have been there ready to go.
Here comes the EMP.
That's a yes, EMP comes through. Already 1 kill for CompLexity. Make it 2. Hard Blue ends up going down. Teleporter is up for Verbo. They need to find that, and quickly, because Immortals are striking back with kills. They are going to get Hyped as well here, but Hype was able to get 2 before he went down in the end. And they try to go inside of the house there to deal with the teleporter, but there's a lot of Immortals bodies in there. But CompLexity, they get 1 tick on the point, and that's still a pretty good result for them. Hard Blue going down late there, but the teleporter probably only has a few charges remaining on it. They got quite a few players down from Immortals, but it's at EMP getting built up again very quickly.
Grim Reality's Nano Visor is going to be a problem. If he keeps playing from on top of the tavern where he is, that's just a vicious place. Basically nothing but headshots rain down from there.
He does get a hack, but Torque, very hurt, has to teleport all the way back, and he will have his EMP ready to go.
All according to plan. It's going to be basically almost 6 ultimates for CompLexity as they push into the point here one more time, leading off with an EMP followed up by an Earth Shatter.
And the Transcendence used by CompLexity. They've managed to find 1 and 2 kills. Grim Reality and Agility's taken out. Grim Reality wasn't able to use his tac visor. And kills are exchanging back and forth. Self-destruct down onto the point. Doesn't find anything, but those those return players are coming back in. Immortals need to hold this one here if they want to keep themselves in the match. Grim Reality using his tac visor does take down 1. That's Shake. He's looking for a little bit more off the back of it. They will get They will get Nicholas outside of the mech, but oh no, they couldn't get onto the point in time. I thought somebody was on it or was going to make it there, but that is going to be CompLexity holding on, beating Immortals, the team at the top of our totem pole in the standings. A good performance coming out from CompLexity.
The lowest team beating the highest team. Chaos ensues at the Overwatch Winter Premiere. That is this.